Hi, so let's learn what generative AI or GenAI is. So generative AI is nothing but creating a new content. So high quality, original and contextual relevant outputs. So you can have what are the things related to generative AI in this, that is what kind of models we have, what are the techniques, what is the architecture behind it, what are the tools, and what are the applications. So why do we need generative AI in the first place? To automate content creation, enhance productivity and creativity, reduce cost and time, power intelligent application creations, and then transform every industry so that you can have more productivity. The core capabilities are generating text or generating an image or generating a code. Writing a optimized code or generating a speech and audio generation, video generation, or multimodal generation. That is, it can create anything. It can be an audio, video, or a text, or a code, anything. So the type of generative models we have as we have already seen text model, image model, audio, video, multiple mode model, and code models. Code models is used for coding, multimodal is for high everything like your Gemini, Claude, or ChatGPT that you are using. And for video models, you can go with Sora. For audio models, you can go with Whispers or Jukebox. For text, you can go with Llama, and for image, you can go with Stable Fusion. So, how your generative model works in an high level. So first we have something called data collection happening at the back. So we collect the data which can be in a text format or an image or audio, or it can be in any document formats, it can be in video, it can be a tutorial, anything. And then we pre-process it so that it is clean. The data is clean and we tokenize it and then we normalize and then encode it. We encode it so that we can train the model. So here the model gets trained, it observes the patterns and representations, everything, and it becomes ready. Whenever a user inputs any specific data, it goes to that model and the model analyzes it and then understands it with its previous training that you have done with the data, and then it generates an output. So how you train the model, that kind of output you get it. So these are the fundamental architectures. You have something called transformer, which is used for decoding and encoding. So for decoder, you use GPT. For encoder, you can use BART, which again decodes it back. And then you have something called diffusion model, where it adds noise. And then it removes the noise while generating the content. And then you have something called GAN, Generative Adversarial Network. So these are the frameworks. So I'll be explaining each framework individually. And then these are the popular models that you can use for against individual types. So this is how you do train. You can have a pre-training, learn general patterns from large data sets, and then you could do a fine-tuning on top of it for adapting to a specific task or domains. And then you have instruction training, where you train on specific instructions saying that you are a senior developer or you are an accountant, like that. And then you have reinforcement learning from human feedback. So human it takes the human feedback and learns more. So it runs in a cycle. And then you have continual or lifelong learning. So it keeps on learning every time. So you can see that Claude or ChatGPT updates their models from x.x to x.x. So that is what the updation is for. And these are the key techniques that are used in generative AI, that is tokenization, converting any text into tokens, and then embedding. Embedding is nothing but converting the data into vector representation. And then you have attention mechanism, that is to see which data is related to which search and all. And then you have positional encoding. What are all these? I'll be telling you in detail. We have something called prompt engineering for giving the detailed and good prompts. And then you have context window. Next is chain of thoughts. So for now, just remember these keywords. Then I'll be telling you all those things. So whenever we are talking about fine tuning, it has specific methods. That is full fine tuning, LoRA or LoRA or adapters, prefix tuning or prompt tuning, and then you have something called PEFT, parameter efficient fine tuning. So all these are fine tuning methods. I'll explain you each in detail. So you have something called evaluation metrics to evaluate the output. So these all are the evaluation metrics that we use, in which human evaluation is mandatory because we know that whether it is a correct output or not. Then we have tools that are using these models called Hugging Face or PyTorch, TensorFlow, Diffuser, LangChain, Llama Index. So these are both tools and frameworks. VLM, Weights, MLflow, and then DeepSpeed. So data, as I said, data for generative AI can be a text, image, it can be photos, artwork, diagrams, audio, speech, music, sound effects, or it can be any video data, movies, tutorials, data sets, code data, data quality material, anything it can be. So where we use this, we can use it in any marketing areas or designing any things or branding, and then you can develop a software using it. You can use it for educational purpose or in healthcare or in any financial institutions or for entertainment sector or for any specific custom chatbots or customer support. Or you can even use it in research and science, R&Ds, and any productive issue or day-to-day tasks. So there are certain safeties you need to follow whenever you are designing a model or creating anything using GenAI. And then there are other challenges also. I'll explain them in detail. So this is how it works. And then for deploying, you have cloud APIs where you can deploy it like OpenAI, Azure, AWS, Google, or Anthropic, or you have edge deployment that is nothing but deploying it in your mobile or on device. And then you have self-hosted that is on your on-prem servers or in your local company owned servers, or you can even deploy it as a serverless service where it uses AWS Lambda or Cloud Run. So what are the best practices and what is the future? We'll be discussing everything in detail in coming session. So this is the basic start for what a generative AI is, to know what GenAI is exactly. If you have any doubts, you can drop a message in the comments.